Hello and welcome back to our Friday Feels episode of the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana, but it is especially good to be back with friend. We can call him friend of the pod.
I think so. At
FOP.
this point, yes.
Yeah, friend of the pod, going on a 15-city U.S. tour. Jay Shetty, how are you? Good to see you.
Do you know what? It's so good to be back. I remember the first time I came on, I was really nervous.
Really?
Why would you be
Yeah, I
nervous?
was really nervous.
You're an international sensation.
I was like, Jared's good. I was like, Jordana's really nice.
Yeah.
But, Jared's good.
Jared's an asshole.
Jared's got
My
an edge.
reputation precedes
And
me.
then we
He's
just
a big
became
piece of
friends.
shit.
And I love it. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I love being back.
I'll admit, there's skepticism. I'm a cynic. So when I meet someone like you that with what you do, you go, what's this guy's deal?
Yeah.
And I gotta say, lovable.
Yes.
You're easy to like. And we were in Cannes.
Yes.
At Spotify, took us to Cannes. This is the most unrelatable start to this episode. So in Cannes, but there's all these famous people. Let me tell a story to make sure people know you're the real deal. And I'm like, Jordana's like, oh, there's Jay. And I'm like, oh, we'll go say hello. And there's famous
So many people around him.
and surrounded. You're the king of the place. And I go over, you're like, Jared, Jordana. You remember us? It was like,
Come on.
that's the
you
real
kidding?
deal. That's when you
No,
know
you guys
someone's
are
a good
sweet.
guy.
A good guy.
I was really
yeah.
excited to see you guys.
I
That
was
awesome.
too.
But we all go to events like that. When you bump into friendly, familiar faces,
Right.
Yeah.
there's like a real joy.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I feel at home now. So
For sure. And we
you
talk
guys
a
are
lot
the
of
best.
shit, so it means a lot when we say something nice.
Yeah, this is a big
No, I
deal.
love it. I love coming back, and thank you for having me.
15-city tour. The name of the tour is On Purpose Live. We want everyone to go to Jay Shetty's website. His everything's going to be in the description of this episode. Get your tickets. Assemble the group chat, as we say.
Well, what happens on the tour? Can you give us a
So,
little
what's the
sense?
show?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, when I came back on, I went on my world tour, which was a one-man show. I wish you guys could have come. Next time, I've got to make sure you're there.
Yes.
This time, we're doing a podcast. So we're doing live interviews on stage.
cool.
Great.
So we've got 15 surprise guests across the 15 cities.
Are they local to the cities?
That's the plan.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And then we'll do Q&A. We'll do an interactive experience. I want people to be able to meet each other. Like that's what I'm hoping that people
Right.
start dating, get married, have babies. Like
We say this
all the
about
rest of
our
it.
show, and
Yeah.
I believe this about yours. You're going to meet like-minded people there.
Yes.
It's going to a run club. It's going to like a fitness studio that you're being on an intramural team. It doesn't get thought of that way with a podcast because
Yeah.
it's very lonely to listen to a podcast. But then when you get around those people, you go, oh, we have the same sensibility.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
know?
Yeah, I feel like everyone's already listening to the podcast every week.
Right.
Imagine doing that in person with everyone else who listens to the podcast next to you.
Right.
Like that's a special thing. There was something that I was looking at. It's called the third space theory. This idea that around 30 years ago, we all had three places we spent time: work, home, and church, or some community place. And then as time went on, you lost that and it became work and home. And then the pandemic came and it just became home.
Right.
And so you work at home, you live at home. If you pray at home, you do everything at home. And what happened was you lost certain
I
things.
like to go to the
that-
bathroom at certain coffee shops.
There you
too,
go.
so
There you
I
go.
spread
Yeah.
myself around.
But you lose something
Yeah,
when you
village,
lose that
use the
space,
village aspect, yeah.
And I feel like this is that place for community that we've lost. Like
Yeah.
a place that you go to that isn't work, isn't home, and you get to like create that space in real life. So I'm excited.
I think podcasts for people, a lot of people do feel like a religious experience. You listen once a week, you're like really paying attention, you're going there for like guidance and spirituality. And
I've always said
something
this
that
show
you-
is my sad sermon.
well,
People
little
hear
bit,
my
right?
problems
You get
and-
a-
Yeah,
I
no,
think-
I
think
agree.
But
is
it is
like
that
a-
third
yeah,
space
right.
for people. It is where people are disconnecting, whether they are at home or commuting. So yeah, you guys provide that, and it's awesome.
I love this. Is there like a cocktail hour portion to your show? Is there like where people can meet, or
Oh,
do you have a
that's a
place?
great idea.
I'm
I
saying
like
like
that.
going in or coming out. Like, hey,
Well, I'm
there's
going
a
to be
deal
leaving
at this
everyone.
place.
I'm going to be leaving everyone with questions and ways to connect with each other.
Okay.
And
Oh,
the
nice. Give
different
them, like-
activities that we did last time. Yeah,
I
so
like
that'll be
that. So you
fun.
give them like conversation starters.
Exactly.
and-
Yeah. I don't want people to walk out of there and be alone. Last time people were leaving the events like hugging each other. And
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Of the 15 cities, what's the one that you look forward to? I know we look forward to them all.
Yeah.
But I just came back from Rochester. I wasn't like circling Rochester. No offense to the Rochester people, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait. But then I went and had a great time.
Yeah.
What's one that you're like, I'm just curious? Like,
Well, I'm definitely excited for New York because I'm doing it at the theater at MSG, so that's
Oh, shit.
exciting.
Big deal.
We're doing the Greek Theater in LA.
That's
So
a
I
famous-
love that venue, so I'm super excited about that. But then, for me, it's like I can't believe I even get to go on tour, and I'm sure you feel that way sometimes. It's like, if you were growing up, I never thought I'd go on tour. You always thought that was for like rock stars and musicians. So I'm pretty excited to go everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you've done it all. I wanted to like talk about, I know you recently, I've seen like this memed and clipped so many times, the Selena Gomez, Benny Blanco interview, but you've interviewed so many like incredible, famous, Kendall Jenner, like literally the most famous people that you've ever seen. Is there any kind of like thread that you feel like is sort of like woven through that maybe the public doesn't know, but you having the experience of just like having these intimate conversations with these people who seem like the gods of our generation or of our time? Is there any kind of like insight that you feel like something surprised you?
What gets us on your show?
Yeah.
That's happening.
I mean,
what about us is missing?
You're invited. I'm
We're excited.
Yeah.
Not many people get like the experience of having so many interviews with such high profile people. Is there like something you've kind of like learned from doing all that?
I would say that the people that I've had the fortune of interacting with, everyone's super grounded and down to earth. And the team can vouch for that. Like we had Tom Hanks at the house.
Wow.
And he was just hanging with the team afterwards, taking every picture that everyone wanted from him, hanging out, chatting, like just being super casual. Like it's Tom Hanks, right? It's just insane to think that we interviewed Michelle Obama in New York, salt of the earth, like just super sweet, super kind, genuine with the whole team. I'd say that the trend I see in the people that I know is that everyone's super down to earth. Everyone's super casual. People are not coming. Like I always like to tell people like, Kendall Jenner came with no team on her own, like just super relaxed. Like
it must be weird to like have your doorbell ring, and it's like, "Hey, I'm here," and you're like looking for, a golden chariot that they arrived in. It's like they're putting their keys in their purse, and as the saying goes, stars are just like us.
Absolutely. We're just last week, Bert Kreischer pulled up.
Yeah,
we were having a bet as to whether he'd be topless on the show or not.
Absolutely.
And so he came topless in his car, and I saw him coming through the gate, and I was like, "Still my team, guys, he's coming in topless." And then he had a shirt in the back that he didn't want to crinkle up. So
you had the sanitizer ready for like for the furniture, just in case.
It's I just like to remind people that behind the scenes, at least the people that I've met,
right?
And I'm sure there's other stories too, but at least the people I've met, super grounded, super down to earth, wonderful, been really good to the team and everyone else as well. And I think that's really, to me, it's always that. It's like everyone can be nice to me or us or who's hosting, but it's like everyone else backstage, and there's so many people that let us do our magic.
And I say that about dating a lot because I think people sometimes date people who are nice to them. And I would always say like it's easy to be nice to the person that you're kind of like getting something out of, or that you have like the direct, like to you're the host. Like of course people are going to be nice to you because you're the talent and the person that's front facing and they want something. But I think the more important thing, especially with dating, is how they treat people that they don't need something from.
Yeah,
exactly. To the point of seeing you in Cannes, like there are people, you're the guy that people are looking at, oh, whoa, Jay Shetty's here. And then like, we come over in our tattered rags and Jay, remember us? And you're like, Jared, Jordana. We're like, whoa. That is why I'm referencing it. That's exactly to the point of like.
I think everyone was looking at John Legend that day. But
John Legend was there. Yes.
He performed with a piano in the middle of like.
I got to say, John Legend singing, we watched him live. You're like, this is
spectacular.
The voice that you're like, you can't, you when you hear someone with a voice like that, you go, oh my God, like this is a genius, like.
Yeah. And there's another story you reminded me of. This is, so while we've been booking this tour, and I won't say who because I don't want to embarrass them, but megastar, like someone who's been on the show, and we were booking them for one of the live events. And
megastar,
and
that could be your city.
We promised it would be a surprise guest. We wanted to keep it a surprise.
Right.
We think it's
You're not leveraging their name to sell the tickets.
We think it's fun for the audience to turn up and be surprised. This guest, their honest worry, just to show how human they are, their honest worry was, what if I'm a surprise guest and everyone's let down?
Right.
Like that's literally what they said to me. They were like, I'm just really scared that you'll say my name, I'll come out, and everyone will be like, oh, like why did we pay? And I was like, I couldn't believe this person was even thinking that.
That's very
And I think
funny.
we forget that everyone has insecurities. Mm-hmm. Everyone's worried about, what people think of them and where we come from. And so that's just a human trait that we all have, no matter how much
I mean,
success or fame we have.
last night I was at the Knicks game and they do the celebrity camera.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, they go celebrity, celebrity, celebrity. And like the first person they show is Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Place goes crazy. And then like, you know, it was funny to hear the different, not just cheers or levels, but the types of cheers. And now we live in a world where, you know, I think that insecurity is even more than it ever was because we have our silos. You know, like I'm a Kardashian fan. I'm a sports fan. So you could see like if they put up like a baseball player, the cheers were male. You know, like it was like all men screaming for this person, and then if like they put up this model, and the women went crazy. It was just like interesting to hear the difference, and I'm sure to them like, and they're getting shown, they're like probably having that same thing. Like Dustin Hoffman's like, ugh, I hope people even remember who I am. You know, when they show it, and you're like, you're fucking Dustin Hoffman.
But also like the insecurities, I think, especially now more than ever. Not only are people siloed, but also people have social media. They can read the comments and the thoughts of every single person in like on the planet. And so I think before as a celebrity, you probably used to be a little bit more shielded from that. If someone had to write you a letter or you had to like, someone had to write a mean article about you for you to feel insecure. And now it's like, you just look at your comment section and there's someone who hates you there.
Not even just celebrities. And have you noticed that like us normals reading the celebrity hatred and comment. People now, you know, you see, there's a comment on TikTok, Instagram. I sprinted to the comments. People are like, I came to the other show that exists here. When you consume how people hate, now you're kind of like anyone around us is living that way, kind of like afraid of the reviews they've seen other people get. Do you notice that?
Absolutely. No, you're spot on. Like as soon as you see, everyone's always like, yeah, I'm here for the comments, right?
Right.
I'm here for this. And I think it's become harder for, I don't even think you have to be a public figure or be in the public eye to feel that way. I think the amount of us that before we post are filtering, will people like this?
Yes.
What if that person sees this? What if my ex sees this? What are my friends going to say? Oh, I'm not going to post it now, right? The amount of time people leave things in drafts or edit things or delete things, it's become more and more common. And I think with self-filtering, self-editing, and we're being more self-critical because of it, because we know we're going to get criticized by everyone else.
Right.
So we're looking at everything now, criticizing everything, going, oh yeah, I don't like what I was wearing that day, or my hair's just slightly out of touch. And so now you're doing it because you're kind of compensating for everyone who's going to do it after you, which is terrible because
it's not authentic.
It's not authentic. And your conversation in your head is becoming harsher and harsher and harsher.
Now, last time you were here, you're talking about your dating book and you're talking about dating. What opinions changed?
Ooh,
like you
that's
go
a good
on the
question.
road, you meet people going through it. Like, you know, you put out a dating book, you put out your opinion on dating, you hear back.
Yeah.
Like about like, well, this is the specific problems.
Yeah.
Has there been something that you're like, this has changed?
That's a great question. I think a lot of us, this has changed. I think a lot of the time we're asking the wrong questions. So we're asking questions like, what do I look for in the right person? Or how do I know that they're the right person? And we don't ask, how am I when I'm with them? Or like, how do I behave when I'm with them? Or how do I know I'm in the right mind space? So I'll give you an example. Like, I think a lot of us are like, a lot of people are trying to change people. And it's like, wait a minute, you know you're with the right person when you're not trying to change them. So if you're trying to change them, you're trying to upgrade them, you want them to get a better job, a better hairstyle, a better dress sense. Wait a minute, you're not with the right person. And this has got nothing to do with them. It's all to do with how you feel.
So let's say someone's sitting at home listening to this, watching on YouTube. They go, holy crap, I've been trying to get this person to change for like, that's me. But I'm in it. Like, now they have to like, are you saying end the relationship? Like I would say, yeah, dump this person.
Well,
but that's so we sit here. I don't know. Someone's been, you know, I don't know.
But I think to that point, it's tough because it's like, where's the line between like you're valuing things that don't matter and you're with someone who doesn't meet your standards, right? So it's like,
that's hard.
You know, because you can be like a hypercritical person where you're like, that's the relationship trope of like nagging someone to change or nagging someone to change. But it's like, which things do you think you need to make sure you're finding the person they already have these qualities, and which things are like, okay, that's not that important. Let's like, you know, let's accept the person as they are.
I think you're allowed to decide what's important to you and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not allowed to decide what's important to them and what's not.
Okay.
So it's like if you meet someone and they do like all those things and they do value them, that's awesome. But if you meet someone and you're already looking at, oh, they're not ambitious enough in their career, that's not going to change overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to look at two things. Do they want to be ambitious or do they not? And second, are they really a high achiever from the pattern of their life? Or have they never been a high achiever? Because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure. So to your point, Jared,
Right.
if someone's in a relationship with someone and they figured out just now, hey, wait, I've been trying to change this person and upgrade them and they're not, well, look at the pattern of their life. If they haven't generally pushed the boundary or taken risks, they're not going to suddenly start doing that at 32. Like,
Right.
That's not going to happen.
I guess those are more like you can't change someone's ambition. I don't think that's something you can really change.
Yeah.
But can you change their genes? You know,
Probably,
like not their
yeah.
genes,
Not their-
not their
right.
like
Their blue jeans.
No, their
their blue
Yeah,
jeans.
yeah,
Like the
yeah.
way they wear their pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
You can probably do that.
But if they've always worn pants that way, I mean, are you upset with them being a slob or are you just upset with the pants? You know, it's
Totally.
like those are two different things as well, right?
Exactly. So I don't think it's settling for less than you deserve. I think
Right.
it's just knowing what you're getting yourself into, right?
Right.
Like it's almost like asking that. And that's why I'm saying we're asking the wrong questions. We're like, do I like this about them? Do I like that? It's like, no, do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Right.
You're getting with someone or moving in with someone who isn't organized, doesn't wake up early, doesn't want to do any of that stuff, and they love their life.
Yeah.
They're not just going to suddenly change because you walked in.
Bill Parcells, famous football coach in the NFL, one of the greatest of all time. You are what your record is.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
this is what you are. You know,
Totally.
this is your record. You're 9-8.
And I
Right.
get it. It's well intentioned, right? Like we always think, oh, but I see what you could be and I understand and I see your potential. But it's like, well, if that person doesn't see that potential for themselves, it doesn't matter.
Right. Or if their values, if they're not looking to become the person that you're
Totally.
looking for them to be, is like sort of where I think you get because I think you can, people meet each other young, they grow together, they help each other become the best version of themselves. I think a lot of people think they need to be like ready to date and
No.
like the best version of themselves. But I think there's a difference between that and where do you want to go is
Yeah.
different than like, well, where are you absolutely now? And what is your ambition?
Totally. My wife's made me better, but she's not changed me. My values are exactly the same as when we started dating, but she's made me better. There's parts of me that have enhanced, got improved, whatever it may be. But my core values and what I use my time and money and energy for are exactly the same.
Right.
And same as hers, I'd say she is as well.
Do you meet people that come to you for help and then you know right away there's no helping them? I don't mean to be, I told you I'm the cynic, but like, you know,
Yeah.
we have people that write us dating advice all the time and you can kind of like sense it. Like, what do you do about someone? You know, there's people listening that they're the Jay Shetty for their group chat. They're the Jay Shetty of the brunch table. I'm sure you meet those people too and you're
Yeah.
like, you're good at what you do.
Yeah, and we need those people
Right.
who played that role in their groups for sure.
Totally. So, but you know, they have people that they're trying to help over and over again. What do you do with someone that you go, how do you pass that off or where do you push them to?
I think so. There's two things if you're the helper, if you're the person solving all your friends' problems. The first thing you have to remember is you don't have to fix and save everyone, right? And I think the biggest mistake you make is you think everyone's going to follow your advice perfectly, and then the moment they don't, you're upset with them. And by the way, that's the same for me. I do not expect anyone that reads my book or advice or whatever to follow it word for word.
Right.
I'm going to meet people, friends, family members, whoever it may be, who may have done that and still not followed it. And to me, that's part of me being detached. It's part of me having compassion. I think the problem is when we think, hey, wait, I gave you the perfect advice. Why didn't you follow it? Or I told you so. To me, that's not friendship or love.
Right.
That's like being an authority and being a dictator, which isn't the goal of friendship.
Right.
So there has to be a bit of detachment when you're giving advice.
Right.
You can't live in this world of, I gave you the perfect advice, you should have followed it perfectly and your life would be amazing. And at the
Right.
same time, for me, it's just disconnecting. Like if I feel like someone isn't truly listening, I find that I'm just not the right voice for them. There will be someone else who can have an impact on them, but I'm not getting through to them.
Yeah.
And so I'll disconnect a bit more when it comes to that problem in their life.
I think I remember from one of your episodes you talking about that. It's like there's a certain kind of toxic person where like they're almost asking for advice, but like they don't actually plan on changing, and so they're sort of like just asking to be heard, but not actually looking for that. And so like that's like one type of, I forgot what it was.
Yeah,
it might have
yeah.
been like toxic people to avoid question.
No, it's just knowing that you don't need to. I think a lot of us also in our own fixer mindset go, but I'm going to be the person who saves this person's life. And it's
Right.
like, well, no, just let them be. Like you don't have the perfect advice for them. They're not going to listen to it anyway. Let go, move on. Like don't overcomplicate it.
Like some people ask you questions probably to just say prove that you don't have the answer for them, and that's
Yeah.
like annoying too. I mean, like I have that. I was on stage. I'm doing like I'm doing a bit about how single people always sound sad, and like there's no way, like no matter how happy you are, the people that are like like pro single always sound like losers. And this woman in the crowd, she's like, no. And I go, well, what are you saying no to? And then she's like, no, I'm happy. I go, look at how happy you sound screaming that out in a room full of people. And I go, you just proved the point. And she was like, no. And it was just like this no factory. Just kept like producing no's.
And you were just making a joke.
Right. This is my opinion. Like, okay, agree, disagree. Can you wait till you laugh at the bit? Like, you must run into that where someone's just
for
a
sure.
no factory.
There was a clip recently that I posted where I said, there's the pain of being single and there's the pain of being in the wrong relationship. And the pain of being in the wrong relationship is worse than the pain of being single.
Right.
And all the comments
Yes.
were like, I'm not in pain and I'm single. And I was like, that's not the point. The
not
point I
right,
was
yes.
making was there are some people who have a pain of being single. Like there are some people who feel like it's a really hard place to be.
Right.
And I was saying, I know that's real, but the pain of being with the wrong person is way worse. Like I know so many people who want to get divorced, who want to break up, who feel stuck, who can't because they have kids, family, expectations, whatever. That's a lot harder than being single.
And they proved how not in pain of being single they are by commenting that they're
Right,
not in pain
yeah.
from being single.
Those are
Like,
the
nothing
happiest
seems more
people.
right.
Yeah. That's right.
So I get that a lot. And sometimes I'm like, it's also like a 30-second clip. So you haven't got the context.
Right.
I did this clip once where I was like, I was in an interview and I was talking about the ideal week for a couple. And I was kind of explaining what me and my wife do, where it's like, we have a couple of nights alone every week where I spend time by myself, she spends time with herself. A couple of nights a week, we have friends that we hang out with together, which are mutual friends. There's a couple of nights a week, she's with her girlfriends, I'm with my guy friends. Like we split the week
Is this
up.
by design?
By design. I was
Okay,
just saying
yeah.
that it's healthy for us to have time together, time apart,
Right.
and time with
Right.
our own friends and time with together friends. And I was saying sometimes in a relationship, you end up just spending time together with a big group of people. And that's not healthy for anyone. And all the comments were like, wait till you have kids, you don't have kids. And I was like, I know I'm not. It wasn't aimed at people who have children.
Yes.
Like there's context to this. It's me saying me and my wife who don't have kids
Right.
and
Right.
our friends who don't have kids. This is how we spend our
But
time.
I would assume a couple with kids that get a chance that one can go, hey, I need 10 minutes. They're better off for giving their partner some time alone
Yeah.
than being together all the time. And honestly, what you're doing, the people who are probably angry at that is you're outing them as not being as happy as they've told everyone they are.
Maybe.
And they feel outed,
Maybe.
but
Right. Well, I think there's this inability now to like see something that doesn't apply to you or that you don't agree with, and then just move on with your day. Like that's just somehow that's gotten lost.
I do think that's the same thing. They're being outed and they feel that like they've just shown the vulnerability that they didn't want to show is out there. Like, this person just like poked a hole in, and again, we're all public figures. Everyone with an account on social media has this group of people that they feel watched by.
Yeah.
And it's like then your video's up there too, where it's like this couple that has a joint account probably isn't as happy
Yeah.
as the couple that has their own account and their
Right.
own friends and all that stuff.
Yeah, and
But-
it's the minority, right? Like the majority of people are doing what you just said, where they are watching it, they're filtering it through
Right.
their life
Right.
and through their lens and moving on. It's the minority that gets fixed on it and goes,
Right.
wait a minute, this doesn't apply to Rule 77 of marriage or whatever.
yeah,
it
and
may
they
be.
need the most help.
Well, let's go to those people who are the most online because we asked them for questions.
Yes.
Okay, great.
we
Let's do
we
it.
get to ask you all we want.
I love it.
I mean, we have your number. We can text Jay Shetty
can.
anytime. That's
You
how
can.
big time we fucking are.
Day or night, 2 a.m.
So, right,
I want more
anytime.
texts from you, Jay.
Yeah, I'll be sending them. A lot of selfies. We went to the audience of the U Up podcast and we asked for questions from them straight to Jay Shetty.
I love
We
it.
want to go through these questions.
Yeah, let's
And then
do
at the
it.
end, I want to get a famous Jay Shetty pep talk.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, I've created a few scenarios of people that are going through the hardest times in their life, and I want to see if you can talk them out of it.
Got it. Let's
Okay,
do
so
it.
that,
Yeah.
but that's a tease. That's what we call it. Tease.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. How do you know if someone truly loves you without words?
You get the hardest questions.
Just a little one.
Do you have that a lot where you're like, oh my God? Like they're like, is there a God? And you're like,
I love
I have
it.
a podcast. I know the Kardashians. I'm sorry. That's it.
The more challenging, the better. This is good. I love a challenge. Like,
Yeah,
it's fun.
this is like
It's
a
fun.
perfect Jay Shetty question.
If someone loves you, they won't use your wounds against you. That's how you
Okay.
know someone loves you. If someone loves you, they're not going to use your vulnerability as a weapon. And this is a really, really specific thing to look out for, because if you've told someone, hey, be gentle with me in this area of my life, and the next time you have an argument, they hold that really harshly and throw it in your face, they don't love you.
Yeah.
People can say they love you, but how people treat your weakest, most vulnerable moments is a sign of love. If you think about anyone you love deeply, whether it's a niece, a nephew, a friend, a daughter, a mother, you would never want to use their pain against them. That's the deepest sign of love. It's not how great they are when things are great and how much they love you on your anniversary and when things are beautiful. It's how do they treat the most vulnerable, weakest parts of you.
And I think along with that, like, how do they treat you when they're mad at you?
Yes.
Right? Because like, again, if I love you, if we're in a good place, like, of course I'm going to be nice and say nice things. But
Yeah.
if it's like when the waiter forgets your order, or you know, miss this, you're late to this thing, how, like, exactly what you said, how are you treating someone when you're mad at them is almost more of indicative of what they're going to be like, right?
Absolutely. I just every time we speak, I hear the uplifting music behind you. Like I can hear the mandolin playing as they use your vulnerabilities. I'm taken to another place, like tear down my cheek. It's really unbelievable. This guy's spitting pearls.
You break up with a lot of women, right?
Every day.
All the time. Just a wheel of dumping, right?
That's right. A new woman in every city.
We do say sometimes it's like the reaction to when you're dumping
Oh, yeah. I can't
someone
believe you're still
tells you
alive.
so
That's
much. The reaction to
get
like
tested every
firing someone, dumping them, rejecting them sort of tells you so much more about the person than
when
giving
you
them
end a
something
relationship
nice.
and you see like some people, you know, I've ended relationships where they walk away and you never hear from them again. You're like, wow, they were like a really
I made a huge mistake.
they were really well adjusted. They took this the way it was intended. And then you have someone who like lashes out at you and tries to make you feel as bad as they feel in that moment, which they feel bad, and I understand that. And you go,
I'm glad you
could have been
understand that.
worse. You know, like I do understand why they're doing it, but you're like, man, that was in them the whole time, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And so, that's a simple one for me. It's a really, really good check.
Yeah.
Is someone using your vulnerability against you.
It's a really good one.
Right, you got another one?
Let's do another from the listeners. How do you choose yourself? How do you let go when you don't want to?
What do you mean by that? How do you let go?
I guess I'm going by these questions, but I guess let's start with the first half.
Yeah.
How do you choose yourself? Like, how do you make sure to make yourself the priority? Let me interpret their question.
Yeah.
How do you make yourself the priority without being a narcissist?
So very few people in the world, like the percentage of actual narcissists diagnosable is much smaller than we now think it is.
Right. It's a word that gets tossed around.
And it's a spectrum, right? Like everyone's on the spectrum at some point. I think you choose yourself, or how do you choose yourself when you don't feel like you have to? I think the challenge is we don't choose ourselves because we haven't since we were young. We were always told to extend ourselves or be there for people, primarily for women, by the way. I think men choosing themselves is slightly easier than a lot of women who were told to be the nurturer, the carer, the solver, the fixer, everything else. And so I think for women to choose themselves is super, super difficult. And it's real. I've know it when women become mothers, and even before then, it's like, well, your job is to take care of your brother or take care of this or take care of that. And I think the only way to convince yourself is that taking care of yourself does take care of everyone else. If you actually take care of yourself,
there's that music again.
You're gonna
I can hear the music.
Yeah, well, you're a
I
bit.
can hear the violin. Get the mandolin out.
music,
Yeah,
well.
cue the music.
it took a second to find it,
No,
right? It was
you
like
got
doing
to
its
it.
thing.
Ding, 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 ding. You know, I can hear that sad violin. And it works. You're right. You're dropping pearls here. You're so right, because if you're not great, how are you gonna make everyone else great?
Yeah, it's
no one wants a miserable fuck taking care of them.
It's as simple as that. The more we keep thinking that,
Even Mike gets the worst music.
that's what we. Do you know what we need to do? We need to get a clip of you.
Yeah.
When you
Put
break
the
up
sad
with someone, we
music,
need to film it and put the music.
Right, you got to take care of yourself. No one wants a miserable fuck helping them through their day.
Cut the
Cheer
video.
up, bitch. Put yourself first. The music behind that's like AC/DC. Yours gets. "Doo, doo, 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 doo."
We need to do that. I want to see that clip.
Side
the
by side.
side by side.
I
We'll
love
do
it.
it. Yeah.
No, but you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
What you're saying is way better than that.
No. You just got to reframe it. I think people have to reframe it that people think taking a break is a weakness. No, it makes you smarter and more focused.
Right.
People think
Right.
getting some rest and, taking a break from taking care of everyone else will take them away from it. And it's like, no, you're giving people that you love your leftovers because that's all you have left.
Yeah, and
Right?
I
They're not
almost-
getting the best of you.
Totally. I think sometimes it's almost more about like it's like your pride. You feel more pride in like knuckling through something miserably than you do taking a break because
Yes.
it gives you, if you wear it like a badge of honor, it's almost like feeds your own ego.
Yeah.
Whereas to take a break, like you're kind of, it feels like you're giving up or like your perception to the world is that you don't care enough.
Yeah.
When it's kind of the
absolutely. Spot
opposite.
on.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you do to take a break? Like, what's your break? Like, what's your thing?
I love playing pickleball.
Really?
I love pickleball.
Where do you play?
That's all I think about.
It's all you think about.
It's all I think about.
You're thinking about it right now?
Yeah, literally. Like,
Just
on the way here.
Jay's brain is.
On the way here, I was like, I can't wait to play pickleball on Saturday when I get back home.
Where do you play?
I play at locally, like a place called Plummer Park, which is down the road.
How
Is it-
often?
Yeah.
Well, when I'm in LA,
Okay.
I'll try and play like 2 to 3 times a week. But then, I'm traveling this week. I was traveling a couple of weeks ago. I'll be lucky if I play once a week.
Okay.
Now, do you play with like old people?
No.
I don't know. This
Well,
is like
if you
that's
think
the-
I'm old,
that's the-
everyone's
no,
my
but
age,
that's
yeah.
the punchline. Is that it's all a bunch of old fogies.
No. It's everyone who wanted to play tennis,
But it's not
Right.
good at it.
but wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But then you feel like Federer when you're playing pickleball.
Because you're covering
Yeah.
the whole court.
Because you can do anything.
Yeah.
Like I can play any shot in pickleball that I could never play in
Singles or
tennis.
doubles?
I prefer doubles. Doubles is a much more fun
Who's
game.
your
Doubles is
partner?
fun for tennis and for pickleball.
Is it?
Yeah, we have a
more
good
fun,
crew.
yeah.
We have a crew of 4
Yeah,
guys.
Jordana's
that
got
play.
into tennis. You take tennis lessons.
Yeah. Love
Oh,
it.
no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I
I agree.
tried during the
It's great
pandemic and it helps with pickleball. But trust me, if you move to pickleball, you'll be able to play every shot.
Pickleball is another one of those things I was watching, like a centenarian, like those things on the different cities that have like the
Yes.
most people over 100. And one of them was like this community where pickleball is huge and all these older people are playing with each other and they feel connected and they feel like because a lot of people, the older they get, the more isolated they become.
Yeah.
And pickleball might be the answer
It's
to
great
living longer.
community. I've
Yeah.
made so many pickleball friends.
Yeah.
Like I literally have a group chat which is just people that play pickleball.
So you go to like this park.
Yeah.
And someone there is like, holy shit, Jay Shetty's here? Like, is that.
And then we'll play pickleball together and we're
Yeah.
friends.
And you become friends?
Yeah.
Are you
And-
good?
Yeah, I'm really good.
Okay.
I'm
Wow.
Just saw the eye of the tiger come out. That was it. Hold on.
I'm very competitive. so-
That's great.
Yeah,
So hold on. So you go, do you do tournaments? Are you in leagues?
I haven't yet. That's what I'm prepping up for. I need to get into a consistent. The problem with our schedules is with going on tour, I'm not going to play for like 3-4
well,
weeks.
on
have
tour, people will now reach out to you. This happened to me. So I picked up golf the last couple of years.
Right.
You haven't picked up golf at all?
No, I've been wanting to. I've been thinking about it.
Don't
It's
do
just
it.
a lot of time.
The golf community, though, I will say it's an exclusive sport because it's hard to get into. It's hard to learn how to play. But the minute you get in, the minute you tell people you want to play, it is the most inclusive game, underratedly, because they have different places you can play from. There's like the beginners tees, the medium tees. And you play with people who are really good, who have to play from way back there, whatever. But I've been invited to so many places around the country where someone's like, a woman wrote me, my husband belongs to a club, he wants to take you out. And I just went out with him
That's
Wow.
to their club. And like now we're just like, we spent 5 hours together.
Are you more likely to answer a DM from someone wanting to go on a date with you or wanting to play, give you a golf in?
Golf, 100%. Like if they have a good course, like I played the Riviera in LA.
Be like, send me pics. Send pics. Send pics
Pictures
of the course.
of your course, of your clubhouse. I want to see the steam room.
Do it right. Do it right.
I mean, but people are going to reach out to you, and in every city you're at, you could probably play anywhere.
I love that. I don't think I'm going to have any time. But
Okay.
Yeah.
He's getting ahead of it.
Right.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
DM.
All right,
Jay
I've got
Shetty.
a good question from the listeners. I think this is a really good one. How can I help my partner have a more positive mindset without being a nag and dismissing their feelings? I think this is a really
love
good one because I
this.
think a lot of people are with someone who complains a lot but doesn't really seem to be doing anything.
Yeah, a lot of people dating a negative Nancy or a negative Ned.
I'm probably going to give an answer that's going to annoy people, but it's doing it yourself. It's doing it yourself. Like being in a positive mindset yourself makes
Right.
an impact on the other person. Like I'll give when I met my wife's always been someone who's been committed to working out ever since I met her. And when I met her, I was the guy who loved playing sports, but didn't really work out, didn't really take my physical health that seriously. And ever since I've been with her, we've been together for 12 years now, I'm married 9. She has never missed a workout every week. Like, it's a part of her mental health. It's a part of her routine.
Yeah.
And watching her do that is so inspiring. And she'd occasionally be like, hey, why don't you think about this? Why don't you think about that? But it was never a nag.
Okay.
But I saw her commitment to something. And when you see someone's commitment to something, it rubs off on you because you can see how happy it makes them. And she'd always be like to me, and she'd always sell it to me based on what I cared about.
Okay.
So she knows that I love being focused. And I could literally spend a whole weekend in books, reading, studying, writing. Like, that's how I'd spend my time. And she'd be like, you'd be so much more alert if you worked out. You'd have so much more focus if you worked out. And I'd be like, oh, really? Okay, let me try that out. And as soon as I started to do it, I was like, she's right. I'm much more focused. I'm much more alert. I have much more energy, all the rest of it. So the two things are, don't nag them, set the example. And if you are going to tell them about it, sell it to them for them. Don't sell it to them for you. More often than not, when we're telling someone to be positive, it's always about how they make you feel. Tell them how it's going to make them feel, right? It completely changes. If I'm like, oh, if you were more positive, like, it'd be so much more easier to hang out and be around and our friends and whatever. It's like, no, if you were more positive, maybe it'd be better for whatever you carry about, whatever you value, whatever you'll
get that
in.
job.
Whatever that person thinks about. And I think no one wants to be with a nag. And sadly, everything feels like a nag when it's not about what you care about.
Right. That's a great point, because I think people, we say this all the time, like, people only change because they want to change. They're not going to change because you told them to change. No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
And also, if you think about it, like, if you have like a little toddler who's crying, and if you think of your partner that way, which, for a second, think of them as like a toddler. Like, if you are just so happy, there's a point where they feel ridiculous being unhappy.
Totally.
Like, if you're like I do that on stage. If you have like someone heckle you, the worst place you can go to is anger, because you've lost control.
Yes.
You have no control. If you go to happiness and you laugh at it, like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
They start, and everyone's laughing. You're the only one not laughing. They kind of have to like figure it out.
Absolutely. You reminded me of something. There's this great piece of relationship dynamics. So if you act like a parent, your partner will act like a child, right? So if you're parenting them, you're nagging them, you're reminding them everything, they naturally become a child because they're just going to play to that role. If you act like a child, your partner will become a parent. If you're not, cleaning up after yourself, whatever it is, your partner's now going to parent with you. If you just play the partner's role of, hey, I'm going to be organized, I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be positive, that person has to meet you there.
Right.
They can't be a parent or child to that. And so you don't get someone to rise by telling them to do it. You get someone to rise by doing it yourself.
I have this great saying. I always say it. I always say, let them. That's my saying.
You say it.
I've said it my whole life.
It's not Mel's.
No. I mean, I didn't copy it from some woman who was doing poetry in her home.
Right.
I created that, but I want you. So we're almost here at the end.
Yes.
Can I get? I wrote out some scenarios.
Jared needs help.
Yeah.
I need no. Well, I wrote out.
Is that the name of his new special?
This is my new special. Jared needs help.
Jared needs help.
I wrote out. I just think you're the number one. But you inspire people, which I know you don't like to hear that but you inspire people. I see your videos, the little, the string quartet goes over your voice.
We need to get a video of you playing the violin while I say it.
Totally naked behind you.
Something tells me you don't know how to play a musical instrument.
No, I used to sing.
Oh yeah, he's got a good
I was
voice.
in the choir.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay.
Like Glee.
I did the
cool
chorus.
The cool choir.
The cool, not Glee. Come on. Not a nerd.
Glee's cool.
So I'm going to give you some people that I want you to give them a pep talk after I describe their experience. I wrote these people, and you have to help them. This is like the most dire situations I could think of. I have 3 people.
Okay.
It's the weekend after Valentine's Day. Their significant other ended it after taking them on a lavish weekend trip. They said they're just not ready. And they've now disappeared, not answering texts. They've blocked them on everything. They live together, and the person is forced to move home. But their grandmother now lives in their childhood bedroom. They're forced to sleep on the couch. Their parents have found a new groove of late, and they're constantly touching and kissing each other all over the house. They have new nicknames for one another. Their dad calls their mom Slobbers, and their mom calls their dad Hefty. The person knows the nicknames are sexual, but not sexual enough to call them out to stop. Their grandmother keeps asking them what happened with their ex, The grandma has dementia, so they have to keep repeating over and over again how they've broken up. They work for the federal government, and one of Elon's interns just fired them. So now they have to spend the whole day at home with their grandma, who keeps asking what happened with their ex every hour or so. Give them a pep talk to get them back out there.
That's so good.
Can you help this person?
Can you help them?
brilliant.
What would you say to that person?
It's so funny. I actually had a conversation with someone who'd gone through a really tough breakup the other day.
Yeah.
And
He's the best.
this
guy's the best.
didn't
No
even
one is
say
better.
anything.
Even
didn't
the way
say
he
anything
started
yet.
it.
He didn't even say
He's
anything
gonna
yet.
do it seriously. I'm so impressed. Okay. He's got an example in his back pocket. We didn't prep him on this.
I was just, and I was saying to her, because she really went through it, and it's the worst when you've just been love bombed,
Right.
And you just had a lavish weekend,
On Valentine's Day, yeah.
And I just went through my first love bombing experience.
You did?
Not romantically, but because
Oh.
obviously I'm married, but in work.
Really?
So yeah.
Can you be
and
love bombed in work?
I just got love bombed at work.
Okay.
I haven't stopped telling the story to my team, and they all know about it. So
Can you
basically-
explain that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I met someone through work professionally, and they sent me a text afterwards, and the text was literally like, "Jay, I love you. You're amazing." This beautiful message that was like this long.
Okay.
Right. I'm starting to measure how
Right.
many sentences it was. That's when you know you've been love bombed.
Full
I'm
apple
like,
screen.
A full apple screen. Exactly.
A
A
praise.
full apple
A
screen.
praise.
A full thing of praise and saying, "Hey, I really want you to be involved in this project. This is the role you'd play, blah, 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 everything." So I messaged back, only 3 lines, by the way,
Right.
and I wasn't playing it cool.
Keep
I was like, "This sounds amazing. I loved meeting you too. I'm so glad our values are aligned. This sounds awesome. Let me know." I don't hear from them for 3 days. I check in and go, "Hey, I just want to make sure I didn't miss that email. And because I'm really excited about this opportunity, let me know, really, really looking forward to it." They message back going, "Yeah, I'm not sure. We're thinking about it. We're figuring some stuff out, but I'll let you know in the next 3 days." I waited a week. I message again and I'm like, "Hey, just checking in, really pumped about this still. I hope you're still looking for someone to work on this, as you mentioned." They message back going, "Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to work out anymore. It's not, we're slowing it down. We're not sure." I reach out through someone else to figure out what's going on. They say to me, they're like, "Oh, this person just wasn't sure whether you'd come on too strong and you were too enthusiastic about it." And so I literally took screenshots and sent them to the middle person. I was like, "Guys, I don't know if I'm crazy."
Right.
And the one thing I said
He
was
just wanted to know you would.
Yeah,
Just like a guy.
Right.
literally just like a
just
guy.
wanted to know he
just
could
like
have it.
men.
Yeah.
I was like,
Just
wow, I
like
know
you
what
pieces of shit guys. I'm sorry.
and I literally was like, am I crazy? Like I literally felt crazy. And I think that's what this person would be thinking. They're like, am I crazy that I feel like
delusional? Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
delusional?
Yeah.
Like we went on this lavish weekend. Now my parents are using mid-level sexual, it's like, am I
How did I get
delusional?
here?
Like,
Right,
is it
yes.
actually extreme sexual or
Yeah.
is it not? Like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
stuck in the middle. So you're constantly like debating everything in your head. Did they love me? Did they not? And the thing I said to this middle person was, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I always say how I feel. And so if this person couldn't deal with that in the beginning of this relationship, it was never going to work.
Right.
Because as the relationship got bigger and better and the professional stuff took off, I would have been more leaned in because that's who I am. And so to this person, what I would say is that your healing is not going to be helped by the person that broke you and hurt you and caused you pain. You don't need that person to mend this scenario in your life. It's obvious you also don't need your parents and your grandma in this scenario of your life because they're not the right people.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is find the right people who love you, who support you, who remind you of your worth, who remind you of your value right now. And second, remember that you just dodged a bullet because this could have happened when you were engaged. This could have happened 2 years into this relationship. This
Right.
could have happened the day before you got married. This could have happened when you were married. And I like to
Right.
remind people that you just saved a ton of time. And when you look at life like that, because we always look at life like I lost time. You always think,
Right.
oh, I wasted 6 months with that person. No, you just got saved for the next 6 years of your life.
Totally. And that's what playing it cool does. It just kind of extends a situation that's going to end poorly. Is by like you not stating your needs or not stating your feelings. You just make a situation go on longer and then it wastes more of your time than if you immediately play your cards. I'm excited. I'm into this. I
Right.
want to be in a relationship.
No, this is fantastic. You're
That was
absolutely
a great
right.
scenario, by the way.
I got one more, okay? He's a 40-year-old stand-up comedian. He's had success, but not enough success to feel like he's established in his field. He had a special on Netflix that did well, but not well enough to get the next one purchased by Netflix. So he had to pay for his next special. And he's about $100,000 in the hole, hoping they'll buy it again. He lives in a studio apartment, but that would be a very giving description. It's more like a room with a bed. He sleeps next to the stovetop, close enough where he can't really roll over too quickly if he made dinner recently, or else he might get burnt if he cooked dinner that night. Cooked is also a very forgiving description. If cooked means he took 2 frozen sausages and heated them up on a skillet and then wrapped them in white bread before eating them over the sink while spraying brown mustard on them, then yes, he cooked. He's single. He can get a date, but the date rarely makes him excited to go on another date. He's not great in bed, but he's enthusiastic. If you asked a woman what it was like to be with him physically, they'd probably say, cuddly like a great pillow, quick to climax, but went down on me like I was paying him good money to do it. He's got money, but not enough money to feel secure. He's overweight and he wants to lose the weight, but keeps saying you deserve it anytime he's presented with a treat, even though he has done nothing to deserve the treat. He wants to meet someone who will satisfy him sexually, but also be a good part of his family. A family that he likes, but they're very annoying. Annoying enough to maybe even chase a prospective woman away. His dad recently asked if he thinks his standards are too high, basically saying, who the hell do you think you are? He's constantly on the toilet and complains about his stomach, but doesn't do anything that will help his stomach. Give him a good pep talk.
We don't know who this is. This is an anonymous
Just
person
a random person
Yeah.
that I created out of thin air.
Time to fix his whole life.
There was a lot of not enough. It was like, I'm successful, but not enough.
Right.
I'm like doing well, like the special did well, but not enough. And so I
Right.
would say to this person, they need to figure out what enough and success is. Because to me, it sounds like they're pretty successful and they're doing all right.
Look at
and
that.
I think
What?
we just live in a world where you're always going to be not enough. And like the person I was talking about at the beginning, like, do you know what the craziest thing is? When I work with someone privately, one-on-one, when I'm coaching, the 2 questions I always ask them are, who or what is your God? Which is a separate conversation. And who do you envy? Or who are you jealous of? And the funny thing is, all of the people that we would consider to be in the top 0.00001% of people in terms of fame and success have someone that they're envious or jealous of. And you
Yeah.
think, what? Like, I remember asking this question at the beginning of my career, and I'd sit with people and I'd think, how are you jealous of anyone?
Yeah.
So the
Right.
famous person is jealous of a rich person. The rich person's jealous of an athlete. The athlete is jealous of a model. It's just like, we're just always not going to be enough on some metric. It's like, if I go to a crypto conference now, I feel not enough. Or if I go to a real estate conference, I'm not enough because I don't own enough real estate. If I go to a whatever, like you're always going to feel that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's hard when you live a life of not enough because that never turns into enough because they bought your next Netflix special.
Right.
Because there's this beautiful speech where Jim Carrey at the Golden Globes, he's winning his 2nd Golden Globe. And he goes, tonight when I go to sleep, I'll be 2-time Golden Globe award-winning Jim Carrey, and then I'll be enough. And I think it's that idea. It's
Right.
like, what is
Yeah.
enough? And so I think it's less about what they do and how they live their life, and it's more about how they define enough. So that's what I
Jay.
would
Do you have anyone that you're jealous of, or that you feel like you've worked on yourself? To get to
No,
that
I,
point where you're
I
not?
think everyone is. I think it would be
Yeah.
a lie if I said I wasn't. And in my tradition, one of the things we discuss is that actually our deepest jealousy is the jealousy of God. Because God has full control, full access, full security, full everything. And so in some way we're jealous of God because we're all trying to play God.
Right.
And so there's that feeling of we're jealous of anyone who has God-like tendencies.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ability to move things and whatever it may be. And so, yeah, I mean, there was a point in my life I wish I could have sung like Justin Bieber and, all the rest of it.
Well,
but
when you say
it's,
who's your God or what's your God, is that like what's the thing that's never enough? Like if maybe it's
for me,
success
it's
or
like,
something like that.
For me, it's like
Don't
what,
make it about me.
It's asking people what people really value. Because I think people
Okay.
say, like the amount of people that will say to me, I value my family. And then I'll say, well, let's look at your bank account and your statements and your schedule. Because your bank account and your statements and your schedule show what you really value. You show what you value by what you spend your time on and what you spend your money on and what you
Right.
spend your energy on. So you can say you love and value your family all day, but if you only spend an hour with them this week, then there's either a misalignment or you're not being honest with yourself.
Right.
So I think to me, the God question is more about what do you place at the center of your life and at the highest thing in your life is your greatest value, and making sure it's aligned with how they live. That's why that question's important.
I see. Yeah.
Jay Shetty comes on here and
Just nuggets of wisdom hurled at us.
just
I love it.
surprises us every single time. He's unbelievable. Thank you, man, for taking
You
the
guys are
time.
the best. I love
So
being with you.
fantastic.
I'm so glad to have you on purpose.
We're so
we can't wait
excited
to
to
come
come
on.
on
But we
summer,
were,
yeah.
listen, everyone that we tell Jay Shetty's coming on, they're like, they light up, and it's for good reason. It's amazing to have you
You're the
on.
best.
Everyone go follow Jay. He's on tour, 15 cities. What are they? JayShetty.com.
JayShetty.me/tour. Because
We need
whoever
a
owns
better- you don't-
JayShetty.com won't let me buy it.
They
Come
won't
on.
sell it to
Yeah,
you?
all these years, I can't
Do you
get
want
it.
us to like prank call them
Oh,
until
please,
they,
that'd be amazing
until
if
they
you've got
agree?
any.
I'll go over their house and I'll read them descriptions of sad
People.
people.
They
Oh,
won't
until-
sell it to me. I've been trying to buy it for years.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I
What
think,
are they?
yeah.
Is it a different Jay Shetty?
I assume so. I don't even know who it is, but they won't.
Well,
you know.
or did they like, fish you? Like, what do they
I
call
think
it?
they're trying. I guess they're just waiting for me to be enough,
Right.
So that they can make.
Oh, they're waiting
enough
for you to get to
from
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like they're like not happy with
your offers.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll go to
.me/.
Go to Jay Shetty's Instagram and just go get tickets to the tour. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna meet a great community of people that you have so much in common with without even knowing, which is like the beautiful part about going to a live show. So go to Jay Shetty's show. And Jay, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
is
This
such a
was
pleasure.
awesome.
You guys are
Thank
the
you.
best. I
Always
love
the
it.
best.
The
Always.
best.
So much fun.
And we'll be back next week. Boom.